Texas A&M plays Tennessee Saturday. It's the 3:30 Eastern CBS game of the week. I want to talk to you about external dynamics for a second. So last week I picked Louisville to beat Notre Dame, mainly because of external dynamics, scheduling and whatnot. So get this, Texas A&M plays Bama down to the wire. It's a war. They lose it. They're totally drained physically and emotionally. Tennessee does nothing last week. In fact, they sit at home with their feet propped up and they watch the game. And then A&M has to pack up and go to their backyard. Now, these teams could play on a neutral field with equal rest, and I could expect something totally different than I do expect this Saturday because of those external dynamics. That's life, man. You got to deal with it. That's college football. A&M is 0 of their last 7 on the road, though. And Tennessee's won 12 straight at home. So that's the backdrop. Before we ever talk about a player or we ever talk about a matchup, that's the backdrop. There is a really good matchup in this game, though. It just may not be the one that you think. Tennessee is second in America in rush yards per game. A&M is 6th in the country defensively in that stat category. I know that people who haven't watched Tennessee play a lot this year are thinking to themselves, ooh, how's A&M's defense going to hold up? And you're right to think that, but you're probably thinking about pass defense. Matchup of the game is run defense versus that running game. I heard Heupel get asked about it last week. He got asked, why do people think you're a prolific passing attack this year? And he basically, he was too nice to say what I'm about to say. Some of y'all just hadn't watched the game and you run your mouth too much. Like you have not watched them play and you just run your mouth. That's not what they're doing this year. They're not a pass-first team. They're a run-first team. They're very good at running the ball. 2 ways, though, as a result of that A&M could actually tilt this game in their favor. One of them is obvious, and that's force Joe Milton into obvious passing downs and then hopefully victimize him. It's not a guarantee. Milton can throw the ball deep on you just like Milroe did last week if you give him time. I learned my lesson there. You give him time, he could beat you down the field. And so those plays will be there. Tennessee will take some shots, but let's just say it doesn't pay off for them. It did pay off for Bama last week enough. Let's say it doesn't pay off. Well, the other thing is Tennessee loves to work at pace. They love that tempo, and they love to grind you on the ground and then move the sticks, and then move the sticks again and again and again. But there's a world where if you are stout enough against the run and you set up a 3rd and 7 and they don't convert it, and you just do that a couple of times, you get them off the field, then you go on some longer drives yourself. You really tilt time of possession, which in and of itself is not a stat we care about all that much. I do care about how many plays you run. I care about how long your offense is on the field and how long theirs has to sit on the bench. I care about how gassed you can get their defense. That's what I care about. It is the kind of thing, if you're not careful, if you're Tennessee, that A&M can really tilt in the critical factors of the game this Saturday in their favor. Both teams are top 3 in sacks this year defensively. They have gotten after the quarterback. A&M is bad on early downs this year. Tennessee hadn't been particularly great on 3rd or 4th down offensively. There is a recipe here, and it is a recipe for a low-scoring game. So let's take a look at what the model thinks. I'll tell you what I think. Vegas right now is Tennessee minus 3.5. I know what a lot of you think about that. A lot of you are thinking, wait a second. Hold on. You just told me Tennessee's rested. They've won a dozen straight at home. I just saw A&M get beat by Bama. They've got to be gutted. Last time I saw them on the road, they played Miami. Miami hung nearly half 100 on them. Tennessee's got to be a lock here, right? Tennessee minus 3.5? Really? That's a gift. I don't think that. I don't think it, but I will tell you this. I do think Tennessee's going to win and cover, but I don't feel as confident in it as I think most of America does. This will be a massive exposure game, I think, for Vegas. I think they'll take a ton of Tennessee action here. I'm like 53%, 47% on it. I'm confident in the under. I'll go ahead and give you a little preview now. That's one of the best bets this week. We are taking the under at 56. There are some 56s out there right now as of showtime. Under 56, one of my favorite plays of the week.